The Vietnam War was the struggle between nationalist forces attempting to unify the country of Vietnam under a communist government and the United States attempting to prevent the spread of communism. This year marks the 40th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War. The fall of Saigon on April 30th, 1975 was the official end of the war and the end of over a decade-long engagement by the United States. During that time, 58,286 Americans sacrificed their lives in service to our nation and for the American ideal of freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to Braves Vision for a very special presentation.
Known as the Wall, the Vietnam Memorial stands in honor of those who served in the Vietnam War. The names of the men and women who gave their lives are inscribed in the order they were taken from us. 58,286 names. The youngest was Marine Private First Class Dan Bullock at 15 years of age, and the oldest was Navy Petty Officer First Class Kenna Taylor at 62. There are 3 sets of fathers and sons, 1 set of stepbrothers, 39 pairs of brothers, 8 women, 16 clergy, and 155 Medal of Honor recipients. And let us not forget, there are still more than 1,600 missing and unaccounted for personnel. The French were in Vietnam before the Americans and lost more than 70,000 lives. More than 400,000 Allied troops served with the American forces. Joining as allies with the United States were the Republic of Korea, Thailand, the Republic of the Philippines, Australia, and New Zealand. These allies suffered more than 5,000 lives lost during the course of the war. American combat forces left Vietnam in 1973. 2 years later, Saigon fell. Over those last 2 years, without American and Allied combat forces in the region, casualties in Southeast Asia were doubled what they had been during the 10 years prior. To our Vietnam veterans who answered the nation's call to serve, we thank you. Your greatness is etched in history from the battlefields of Southeast Asia to the neighborhoods of hometown America, where you continue to bring blessings and inspiration to your families and your country today. To the families of our Vietnam veterans, we thank you for the greatness of your support, sacrifice, vigilance, and compassion. And to our allies who stood by us 50 years ago, we thank you. The greatness that was earned by this generation never left you, and it never will.
Ladies and gentlemen, now entering the field and representing all who served are veterans of the Vietnam War who proudly answered the nation's call. Georgia has always provided its best and brightest sons and daughters to serve this country during times of war and peace. In the United States Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Army Reserves, and National Guard. More than 228,000 men and women from Georgia served during the Vietnam War. 1,584 Georgians were killed in action. 8,534 were wounded in action. And 21 were held as prisoners of war. Tragically, 30 remain missing in action. Americans understand that freedom is not free, and that all generations have offered their youth to serve in harm's way. At this time, please stand and remove your caps as we observe a moment of silence for the 30 Georgians still missing in action, and for all others who paid the ultimate sacrifice during the Vietnam War. Thank you. Earlier this year, Georgia Senate Resolution 96 was passed, commending all Vietnam War veterans and their families and recognizing the week of May 6th through the 12th, 2015 as the 40th Anniversary Observance of the ending of the Vietnam War. In summary of Senate Resolution 96, our nation's security continues to rely on patriotic men and women who put their personal lives on hold in order to place themselves in harm's way. To protect the freedoms cherished by all United States citizens, all of Georgia's Vietnam War veterans and their families are to be highly commended for their service, sacrifice, and devotion to duty during a most trying time in America's history. The selfless and heroic actions of this generation of America's warriors stand as a shining tribute to the strength of human spirit and willpower. It is abundantly fitting and proper that the accomplishments of these distinguished Americans be recognized appropriately. This generation of warriors did not lose in Vietnam. They simply were not allowed to win. And the citizens of this state applaud their just and honorable duty and extend to them our most profound and sincere appreciation for standing ever ready to lay the ultimate sacrifice at the altar of freedom. At this time, will all Vietnam veterans in attendance please stand? Once again, all those who served our nations during the Vietnam War, please stand at this time and be recognized. Ladies and gentlemen, please join the Atlanta Braves as we give these warriors the just and overdue appreciation they deserve. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. To honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem, performed by Miss Georgia, Maggie Bridges.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land